And people that I mean not just people like myself that has mental illness, problems, but everybody. I mean it's a lot of stress and it was hard. Kim Novak was Hollywood's biggest star. In 1958, she could have destroyed anyone's career with one phone call. Yet, she stayed silent about Tony Curtis for 63 years. Why would the most powerful actress in the world keep such a dark secret? The answer lies in a system that protected men and destroyed women. When she finally spoke in 2021, her words were devastating. She revealed not just what Curtis allegedly did, but why she could never tell anyone. Kim Novak was born Marilyn Pauline Novak on February 13, 1933 in a cramped Chicago apartment. Her parents had come from the Czech Republic chasing the American dream, but what they found was hardship. Her father, once a teacher, worked as a railroad clerk, earning only $18 a week. Her mother came home each night with hands stained from factory work. They spoke a mix of Czech and English, clinging to old values while trying to survive in a new world. Kim and her sister Arlene grew up surrounded by struggle. The dream felt far away. Kim was painfully shy. So shy, in fact, she would hide behind the living room curtains when guests visited the school. Her silence made her an easy target. Teachers mocked her. Classmates called her Weirdo Novak. And she once fainted while reading on stage in front of hundreds. Every report card said the same thing: withdrawn, needs help. But inside, Kim was bursting with color. She escaped into art, painting, and sculpting for hours. In 1951, she won 2 scholarships to the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. That should have been the start of an art career. But life pulled her in a different direction. Money ran out. Kim took whatever job she could. She worked as an elevator operator, earning $35 a week. She fainted during a tooth extraction as a dental assistant. She couldn't speak to customers at Saks Fifth Avenue. Finally, she landed a promotional job in 1953 as Miss Deep Freeze, traveling across America to promote home freezers. She wore glittery outfits and smiled through 10-hour shifts at county fairs. It wasn't glamorous, but it taught her how to perform in front of people, something she'd never been able to do before. In March 1954, with just $200 saved up, she bought a one-way Greyhound ticket to Los Angeles. After 3 days on the road, she arrived at RKO Studios to audition for a small part in the French line. She waited in the sun for 6 hours. The casting director took one quick look and dismissed her. But as she stood in the rejection line, something happened. Colia Pictures talent scout Harry Kahn spotted her. Within 2 days, she had a contract. She was no longer Marilyn Novak. She was now Kim Novak. But the transformation was not gentle. Kahn told her flat out, no one would watch a movie with a packed name. He scribbled Kim Novak on the contract. Then came orders. Lose weight, bleach your hair, wear tight white sweaters. She had to become Columbia's answer to Marilyn Monroe. Convent private investigators to trail her dates and make sure she stayed scandal-free. When filming Pushover began, Kim barely whispered her lines. Kahn was furious. Acting coaches drilled her for hours. She couldn't walk and talk at the same time, so they removed props from her scenes. During one take, she had to slap Fred McMurray. She cried for an hour before she could do it. On the next film, the writers had to change her lines on the spot because she was too overwhelmed to speak. Still, Kahn moved fast. Pushover came out in July 1954. Just 4 months later, hit theaters. Then came Picnic with William Holden, her biggest hit, and Five Against the House. 4 films in a single year. That speed worked. In 1956, Kim Novak was voted the #1 money-making star in the world. She held that title for 3 years in a row. Her movies, averaged over $90 million each in today's numbers. Columbia had never seen numbers like that before. In late August 1957, Kim Novak met Sammy Davis Jr. at a Chicago nightclub. Felt electric, but they both knew the danger. Only 4% of Americans supported interracial marriage, and 17 states still banned it. Their lives were tied to studio contracts and moviegoers in places where such a relationship could end everything. So they hid it. They met in back alleys, borrowed friends' cars, and used peonases. Sammy signed photos as built to avoid suspicion. They dated in secret for 5 intense months, moving between Las Vegas and Malibu. But the outside world started to catch on. A gossip column hinted about a blonde star and a black singer. Columbia's phones exploded with calls. The romance was real, but the risk was growing. By November, Columbia boss Harry Kahn got the news. He was furious. He had ties to Chicago mobsters and saw Novak as one of his most valuable stars. Her movies brought in more than a third of Columbia's yearly box office. He called her in, slammed a gun on the table, and warned her that theaters in the South would ban her films if she didn't end things. He was shaking with rage, taking heart pills as he spoke. Kim left that meeting terrified. She later said Kahn believed he owned her completely. Then came the mob. On January 2, 1958, Mickey Cohen saw Sammy's father at a racetrack and made it clear Sammy had to end things with Kim or face real violence. Mickey had a history of killings and controlled tens of millions in rackets. He offered one way out. Sammy had to break up immediately. Sammy's father called him from the track. Sammy dropped the phone when he heard. He knew it was serious. That same day, a studio guard blocked Novak's friend from giving her a warning note. She had no idea what was coming. A few days later, Sammy got another call. Now, it was even worse. He had 24 hours to marry a black woman or lose his legs and his remaining eye. To him, he offered a showgirl named Lori White $25,000 to marry him. She agreed.